I'm going to talk today about the two opposite qualities. When we talk about the qualities, we said that some of them they have opposites, and some of them they don't have opposites. Today, after covering the qualities of the ra, now we are going to talk about the itbaq and infitah. Itbaq and infitah are very similar to tafkhim and tarqiq, but we have more details here in infitah and itbaq. They translate itbaq into adhesion and infitah to opening. But I'm going to explain that thoroughly now. Now I'm going to start with itbaq. For itbaq, we have 4 letters. As you notice, with those 4 letters, all of them are in the state of tafkhim. All of them are in the state of tafkhim. But we still have some letters which are in the state of tafkhim, but they are not with the state of itbaq. They don't have the quality of itbaq. Who tells me which letters are mufakham but they are not mutbaq? Which letter? Say it again. Kha, gha, huh? Qaf, Ra in some situations. That's why I put it with huh?
Lam in some situations. Lam is the name of Allah.
And lam also in some situations. So if we have khussa daghtin qidh, khussa daghtin qidh, sad is mutbaq, dad is also mutbaq, ta is mutbaq, and dha is mutbaq. The rest of them they are mufakham. They are thick, but they are not mutbaq. Now, what is the difference between those both situations? Now, itbaq, when pronouncing them, sound is confined between the tongue and the upper palate, and they are sad, dad, ta, dha. So the sound is in this area here. The sound is in this area here, just in this area. And because the sound in this area, they are like double mufakham. They are more mufakham. They are more thick than the other thick letters. They are more thick than the other thick letters. The other thing about them, even with the state of kasra, they are also in the same level of tafkhim. When I say something like sa, I say si, sa, si. I don't say si, because if I want to go a little bit down, I'm going to go to another letter. I'm going to go to the sin. The same thing also with da. I don't say d, I have to say di. The same level of tafkhim, because if I want to say d, I'm going to go to another letter. And also with ta, even with kasra, I have to preserve the same level of tafkhim. Dha is also the same dha or dhi, because if I want to go a little bit down, I'm gonna move to another letter, dhi. Is that clear? What is the difference now between the mufakham and muraqqa? Whereas in other letter, gha, I would say with kasra, ghi. I don't say ghi, no, I say ghi. It's still mufakham, it's still with the state of tafkhim, but it's a little bit lighter than the fatha. We talked about the levels of tafkhim, maratib al-tafkhim. We talked about that 2 lessons before. And also with ra, it's a special. It's totally like different, because when I say ri, it's going to be like just light, not a little bit light like ri, Ghi, it's mufakham, but I go a little bit down. Okay, so just to summarize those 4 letters, they are mutbaq. That means in like for practice, all of that is theory, but for practice, it's very important to state that even if you have kasra with them, you are going to keep the same level of tafkhim. Now, infitah is openness. It's the opposite of that. When pronouncing them, sound is not confined between the tongue and the upper palate, and they are the rest of the letters. Look at that here. Do I have a picture here? Yeah. Look at that here with, for example, with qaf. Qaf is a mufakham letter. Qaf, it's a thick letter. But even though it's a thick, but it's not mutbaq. It's not mutbaq. So I say qa, qa. Okay. So with kaf now, look at the look at the opening. Look at the opening in kaf. Kaf, it's not mufakham at all. Kaf, it's muraqqaq. And the sound is lowered, opened. So we have to differentiate now between the mufakham opened, like opened, and the muraqqaq opened. The muraqqaq opened is the sound is totally lowered, like ta, ka, ba. Look at here. But we have also the mufakham opened. The mufakham opened letter, like qaf. The sound, it's not confined. The sound elevated, but it's not confined because we have this opening here. We have this opening in this area. Whereas when you look for example at dha, this area is closed. This area is closed, and the sound is elevated. So for that reason, we said the sound is confined in this area because we don't have another departure for the sound. I mean, the only practical thing that I want you to recognize is when we have a kasra. Maybe for some of you, those details are not very important about the direction of the sound or stuff like that. But the only practical thing that I want you to notice, when you have a kasra with the mutbaq letters, with adhesion letters, you don't go a little bit down. Now we have the same rule that I mentioned with elevations and adhesion. They are mutbaqa musta'liya. They are 4 letters: sadu dadin, ta'u dha'in, mutbaqa. With elevation and openness, we have musta'liya, munfatiha. They are 3 letters: ghayn, kha, qaf, and in some cases ra and lam. So the elevated letter with itbaq has more tafkhim than the opened elevated letter. As like when I say damir, this dad is more mufakham. It's more mufakham than ghalib. Okay, have you noticed that? Damir, it's more mufakham than ghalib. And also but you have to notice in the same level of tafkhim. In the same level of tafkhim. What do I mean with the same level of tafkhim? In general, the letter with fatha is more mufakham than the letter, I mean the mufakham letter with fatha is more mufakham than the mufakham letter with dhamma. So there is no way to compare between this dad and this qaf. Why? Why it's not, I mean, you can't compare between those and say dad here is more mufakham than qaf here.
Because the dad has a fatha and the qaf has a dhamma.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
So the dad is going to be higher in the level, compared to the qaf, but then also you need to think about the adhesion and the openness as well.
Very good. So you have to compare between two mufakham letters which have the same vowel. They have two fathas, two kasras, two dhammas. In this situation, we can compare between them. And that's why we said Dad here is more mufakham than Ghain here, even though both are mufakham, but this one has adhesion and this doesn't. And also in this situation, it's also the same. O is more mufakham than O. And also here, Diza, Azim, they have more tafkhim than Qila, Qila, and Ghida, wa Khifatan. Even when you pronounce them, look now, I'm going to ask you now to pronounce the whole words here because they are really important. You don't say D. You don't go any fair, like you don't go down at all. You have to say you don't go down at all. But here you go a little bit down. You don't say no, you say but you don't go very, like you don't go so much down because you're going to move to qaf. You're going to say kila. It's not kila. Qila. And also here waghida. You don't say waghida. No, it's a mistake that some people say it like they say ghida. No, it's ghida. And also here wakhi. It's not khoy. It's khifa. Okay, let's start practicing those examples here. Every one of you is going to read all of them. Yalla, Abdurrahman, would you read them?
طيب. ضيزة عظيم قيل وغيضة وخيفة.
Very good. Now, Wais.
ضيزة عظيم قيل وغيضة وخيفة.
Abdurrahman.
ضيزة عظيم قيل وغيض وخيفة.
عمرو.
ضيزة عظيم قيل وغيض وخيفة.
Very good. Arsalan. I think he's not here. Ali Muhammad.
ضيزة عظيمة عظيم قيل وغيد وخيفة.
Very good. Arsalan, are you here? Okay. Now we finish this rule here, the opening and the adhesion. If you have any question about that, please do ask me. Now we are going to move to the qualities of the letters which don't have opposite. You find them in some letters, but they don't have opposite. The first one, we have also seven of them. The first one is Safir, or whistling. It's a sharpness in the sound of the letter produced from its passing through a tight passage. Even like when you whistle, when you also whistle with your mouth, you have to find a narrow passage in order to let your sound come from, and after that you have this sound of I don't know how to whistle, but you're gonna even the whistle itself, like when you whistle in how do you call that? Is it a whistle? This Huh? When you whistle.
Whistle.
Huh?
Yes, it's called a whistle.
It's a whistle as well. Like when you whistle with the whistle,
Mhm.
it's also made in a way that it makes the sound tight, or it makes the passage of the voice or of the air. It's going to be narrow. So this whistling we have in Arabic in 3 letters. We have with S, because the narrow, the sound is going from a narrow passage. You have it also in as, saw. You have it in as. Now, what do I have to do practically? What I have to do when I pronounce a letter with sad? Actually, if you learn the right pronunciation of the sad, sin, and zai, you don't have to do anything extra. Now we are explaining that for you theoretically, like just in a theory. We are explaining that for you in a theory to understand why do you have this narrow sound. But you don't have to stress, you don't have to do anything extra if you learn that properly. When you say Bismillahi, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, don't stress that more because you have Safir. Whereas when you say Bithmi, Bishmi, Bishmi, something like that, I would say to you, please pay attention to the whistling in the sad. Now the other important quality is the Qalqala. Qalqala, the meaning of Qalqala linguistically, or in Arabic, the linguistic meaning of Qalqala, to disturb something. Even they call qalaqil, if you have some political problem, they say qalaqil. Qalaqil mean like some disturbing, like the opposite of being state or being being sakin. That is the Qalqala. Now, in our ilm, in our knowledge of the Tajweed, the Qalqala is the when you stop on some letters which normally don't have departure, you have to make this disturbing sound in order to let the sound to be released. So as I said, it's emitting the letter of Qalqala when it's sakin, by parting the two components of the articulating parts, not accompanied by a hint of any haraka out of the 3 harakat. And which letters have the Qalqala? Qutbu, Jad. Now I'm going to explain that thoroughly because the Qalqala is very important when reciting the Quran. I think we covered this slide before. We covered that at the beginning of our book, but I'm going to repeat that. Like, what is the difference between sakin and mutaharrik in general, between the sakin and mutaharrik? The letter with sukoon, how do I produce the sound? I produce the sound by collusion. So I say ab. There are 2 parts who meet together. Whereas with the letter of mutaharrik, with the letter of mutaharrik with fatha, dhamma, kasra, I produce the sound by parting them, by letting them to how can I express that? By letting them to leave each other. When I say ba, they are already together. That I have 2 parts which are already together, but I let them leave each other. Whereas with the qalqala, I let them leave each other, but without any haraka. Whereas here I have the haraka, without any haraka. So I say ab, 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 ad, aj, aqa. Have you understand the difference now? So when I have a letter with haraka, I let the two parts leave each other, but with the haraka that I have, I would say ba, bu, bi. Whereas when I have the letter with qalqala, I have to let the two parts leave each other, but without any haraka. I don't say ab, sorry, I don't say, for example, give me an example with qalqala. قالوا ربنا الأصحاب با. No, I don't say something like that. I have to say الأصحاب أب. It's not أبا. Okay, that is the qalqala. Now we are going to practice. Sorry, because we practice that, because before we practice that, we have two levels of qalqala. We have the greater qalqala. We say qalqala kubra, like the bigger qalqala, and we have also the lesser qalqala, or the small qalqala. The greater qalqala, when I stop on a letter with qalqala. And when I stop on a letter with qalqala, it has to be at the end of any word. At the end of any word. Whereas with the lesser qalqala, the smaller qalqala, when this qalqala is in the middle of a word, in the middle of a word, or at the end of a word, but I continue reading. I don't stop. For example, here, in this situation here, it's in the middle of, it's at the end of a word, but I don't stop on it. And that's why it's a lesser qalqala. It's not a bigger qalqala. So I say, وَلَا تُشْطِطُ وَهْدِنَا. So what is the difference now in terms of the pronunciation? In terms of the pronunciation, when I have the greater qalqala, I have to stress that more. I say al-falaq liyunfiq dhu. So here it's greater than here. The qaf here is more stressed than the qaf here. Now we are going to practice those examples. Every one of you is going to take 3 examples from the greater qalqala and 3 examples from the lesser qalqala, and the next brother will carry on. The next brother will carry on, and when we finish them, we are going to repeat them again. Okay, starting with you, Uwais.
الفلق محيط كسب يقضي يطعم يبصرون.
Very good. Abdurrahman.
الفلق
No.
محيط.
Continue reading until.
Okay. بهيج أحد حق وتجعلون يدخلون لينفقوا ذو.
Very good. Now a question for you. Is this qalqala here? Is it a greater qalqala or a lesser qalqala?
Does it depend if you're stopping on liyunfiq? If you stop, then it's a great one. If you don't, then you say liyunfiqu, that's the one.
Okay, very good. Other Abdurrahman?
وتب الحج أشد ولا تشطط واهدنا.
No, you have to continue.
ولا تشطط واهدنا فأنصب وإلى يخرج من.
Okay, read the last one.
قد أفلح
Okay. Now just to you have to bear in mind, when you have a shadda at the end of a letter with qalqala, you have to be careful here because the pronunciation is going to be different. You don't say watab, you don't say watab. You have to pronounce first of all the shadda, and after that you come to the qalqala. Watab al-hajj ashad. Okay, Ali Muhammad, would you read those 3 examples from the beginning again?
الفلق
الفلق أق.
الفلق
Uh-huh.
محيط
Uh-huh.
كسب
كسب.
كسب
Okay, now 3 examples from here.
يقضي
يقضي.
يقضي
Uh-huh.
يطعم
Uh-huh.
يبصرون.
Very good. Okay, now who do I have in the list? Amr?
الفلق محيط.
You continue with those examples.
From okay, yeah. بهيج أحد حق.
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 Very good.
وتجعلون يدخلون لينفقوا.
Very good. What do I have here? Ahmad, I think, yeah.
وتب
وتب. No.
وتب
أيوة. Very good. وتب.
الحج أشد ولا تشطط واهدنا.
Say it again. ولا تشطط واهدنا.
ولا تشطط واهدنا. فانصب وإلى.
فانصب وإلى.
يخرج من.
Try to make the qalqala here properly.
يخرج من. قد أفلح.
Okay, very good. Now I think everyone is covered here. Yeah. Now we have in this attention the same thing that I mentioned here. When the letter of qalqala, is merged into a letter identical to it or similar, it shouldn't have qalqala. This is something that I haven't mentioned yet, because idgham, merging, would be broken if it's made to have qalqala. So when I say, look, when I have some words which have 2 identical letters or 2 similar letters, something like yeah, I can make it bigger. Yeah. So how do we read these examples here?
وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ.
Okay. Why didn't we apply the qalqala here? Why we didn't say وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ?
Because the two birds, you make them one, like it's like you put a shadda over them, right?
Yeah. So the reason is because if you're gonna make qalqala, you can't merge those two letters together. The idgham is stronger than the qalqala. So when I have two identical letters, the first of them is sakin and the next one is mutaharrik, I have to have identical idgham. So I have to make the idgham. And when I make the idgham, there is no qalqala anymore because I'm going to have one mushaddad letter. وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ. Now we are going to read those examples. They are those examples that you are going to read. They are very important in the Quran because a lot of people make mistake with them. Now, every one of you is going to take one example and read it. Starting with you, Brother Ahmad.
حقت
حقت. Very good. Abdul Rahman.
اطلع
اطلع not اطلع.
اطلع
اطلع الغيب.
اطلع
We have two ta here and we merged them together. Abdul Rahman, other Abdul Rahman.
ربنا.
Ali Muhammad. Ali Muhammad.
سججة
سجاجة.
سجاجة.
Okay. Amr.
يردون.
Very good. Uwais.
الطارق.
Now those examples are easy. Now the other examples are a little bit more difficult. Starting from the bottom, Uwais.
وليكتب بينكم.
وليكتب بينكم. Okay, Amr.
وقد دخلوا.
Make those two letters more stressed. وقد
دخلوا.
Very good. So I don't have qalqala here anymore. Even though this dal is sakin, because I have an identical letter after the dal. Amr, would you read this example for me here?
Which one?
This example.
أحط. Sorry, أحط.
How do you say it?
أحط.
أحط. Very good. So why didn't I make the qalqala here? Why I didn't say أحطت?
Because of the idgham is stronger.
Because I have idgham. I don't have two identical letters here, but I have two similar. Two similar letters. We are going to cover those rules in the future. I have the ta and ta. The first one is with sukoon, the second one is mutaharrik. So I have to merge them together. Because they are from the same position in my tongue. So
is it the same? So I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it the same with the قد ضللت?
No, it's not the same. I don't say قد ضللت. قد ضللت. Why? Because dal and dad, they are from two different positions. So I don't have idgham with them.
Okay.
So we don't say قد ضللت. I have to say قد ضللت. قد ضللت. Because dal is from another position, is from a different position with dad. So here ta and ta are from the same position. I merge them. أحطت. Ali Muhammad, would you read this example for me?
بسطت.
بسطت. Yeah. This example is also very important because I have to pronounce the ta before the ta. بسطت. أحطت. طيب. Abdul Rahman, you you. This example here.
فرطتم
ثرتم.
فرطتم
Ways.
فرطت.
Very good. As you notice here in those examples, it's even it's even like it's different from the general rule that we have, because the general rule that we have, when we merge two letters, we take the first letter away and we pronounce the next letter. But here in those examples, we didn't apply this rule because we have isti'la letters. We have those mufakham letters. We don't say ahadtu. We don't say basatta. We have to say basatta because we have the ta, and the ta is from the letters of isti'la. Now I'm going to mention that again. I mentioned that before, and we stop on this point before moving to the practical part. The qalqala is for the second of the double letter because of the first is merged and is emitted by collision between the two components of the articulating part. Accordingly, there will be no effect of stress on the clarity of the qalqala of the stressed letter. So the qalqala with al-hajj is the same as bahij. Is it the same? Okay. So what he means here that the qalqala that the qalqala with the next part, al-hajj, with the second part of the qalqala is the same. It means like just because you have a shadda, it doesn't mean that you have to stress more, because you are going to pronounce the first part al-hajj and you will make the qalqala on the next part of the sound al-hajj. But you don't say al-hajj, like you don't eliminate the shadda because you have the qalqala. You just make the qalqala on the next part of the letter. Okay, I hope that I explained that. And next week, inshallah, we're gonna cover some mistakes that normally are done by while pronouncing the qalqala. But I think I'm gonna stop here at this point for this part, and we will move to the practical part. As we said last week, we are going to practice the short surahs in Ramadan in order to correct them, inshallah. And for doing that, we are going to start. I'm gonna have a look at the Quran here and decide where I'm going to start from.
You said the last 25 surahs, so I think that's from Wal Fajr onwards.
Is it from the Wal Fajr?
Pretty sure it is. I think.
Let's go a little bit further, because if we start with the Fajr, we are not going to finish we are not going to cover the small surahs.
Yeah.
So let's start with Ad-Duha wal-Layl, and we'll go inshallah further. Okay, I have approximately 20 minutes to practice with you, and I hope that you are going to. I think we are a smaller group today, so there is no problem with that. I'm going to break the room between me and Abdurrahman, and where is this breaking rooms? Stop sharing and stop recording.